Salvete omnes. This is Abbey Latin Liber Secundus, caput vigesimum primum, chapter 21, Morphology and Syntax, concerning the locative case and special place constructions. What do you mean locative case? That's right, locative case. Why didn't you tell us that at the beginning? Because you weren't ready for it. Would you really have wanted to memorize more endings way back in chapter 2? Of course not. You only needed to know that at the time. So anyway, remember way back Proto-Indo-European pi? Proto-Indo-European boasted of 8, maybe even perhaps more cases. More cases, that's right. But classical Latin, which is of course the italic descendant of Proto-Indo-European, retains 7 of the original 8. So, whereas Proto-Indo-European has nominative, a genitive, a dative, an accusative, a locative, which shows location. In ablative literally is from ab and fero, fere, tuli, latos. So it's the case. Notice they all end, almost all of them end in tiv. And ablative, so it's the carrying away from case. It's the case that shows its separation. It's the primary and only function of the ablative, well, originally. And then there's a circumstantial or a prepositional case, and then the vocative. Now, classical Latin was like, do we really need all of these thingies right here? Why can't we combine the locative, the ablative, and the circumstantial prepositional, into one? Now, the locative was still in use for quite some time, but it's by the time of Cicero, so that is the mid-1st century BC. That's Cicero, Caesar, sort of the turbulence and the fall of the Republic, all that stuff. The locative started to fall out of wide usage, and people had really transitioned on to moving prepositions plus the ablative, as you know and love from way back in like chapter 3. But the locative was still used with the names of cities, towns, and small islands. And I'm going to say that again. The locative is still used with the names, not the words, not the word city, not the word town, not the word small island, or phrase small island. You know city. Orbis femini, you know town. Oppidum e neuter, and you know island. Insula I feminine, and then small parvus a You know those words, and you've seen those words take prepositions plus the ablative like 500,000 times. Kind of a weird curveball to throw at you right now for it to be like, actually, it should have been the locative all along. No, the locative is used with the names of cities. So like Rome, the names of towns, the names of small islands. What's a small island? That's a good question. So Sicily is considered a large island, although I have seen Sicily take the locative before. So really it's kind of author's choice as to what constitutes a small island. When I think small island, I think Panditaria. Have you ever heard of Panditaria? If you've read I Claudius or Tacitus's histories, you probably heard of Panditaria. Maybe you remember that. Or Planasia. No, you've never heard of those? That's because it's so small. There's no reason for you to have heard of those things unless you know that those are the islands where the Emperor Augustus sent members of his family who displeased him. Now the nouns domus, humus, and rus. So domus us feminine, house, home, especially an urban home. Humus e masculine, which means the ground, soil. And then rus, ruris, neuter, which means the countryside, the rural area. Those also use the locative because those are just, when they are used, I mean, they're commonly used they use the locative form, so no prepositions are used with these words. We already said that with domos, so go ahead and add humus and rus to your working knowledge along with domus as these nouns don't take prepositions. Okay, so what's the locative even look like? It looks, it's kind of a mix between the genitive and the ablative. Kind of depends upon the declension and also the singularity or plurality of the names of the cities, towns, small islands. So go ahead and get used to the idea that the names of some cities are just plural in the ancient world. They often are in English too. So it's not Athen, but it's Athens. There's an S there too. It's plural even in the English translation. Atenai, aurum, feminine, plural. It's Athens. Syracuse, though, is plural. Syrakusai, but it's not the Syracuses in English. So some towns, some cities, they're just plural. Probably because originally multiple communities banded together and then formed one community, and the plurality of the place reflects that. Even now, now it's a singular entity. Originally, it wasn't, and the name reflects that plurality. So if the noun, remember these are the names of cities, towns, small islands, the names of cities, towns, small islands. If that name is a first or second declension singular, it's first or second declension singular, then the locative is going to look like that noun's genitive. So that name, the genitive of that name. Por ejemplo, Roma I feminine, name of the city Rome. It is a first declension. You can tell by the genitive singular. It's the first declension singular noun. It's not Rome's. It's not Romae aurum feminine plural. So the locative is going to look like its genitive. The genitive of Roma is Romae. Notice there's no preposition. So how do you say at Rome? It's just Romae. Alexandria, I feminine. Alexandria. Virginia? No, we're talking about the one in Egypt, or the one in Illyria, or the one in India, or the one. Remember, there are like a dozen of them founded by Alexander. Which one? The Great? The third of Macedon? Singular. First declension singular, therefore its genitive, its genitive also serves as its locative. Alexandriae. Where are you? Alexandriae. Sum Alexandriae. I am at Alexandria. Not actually right now. Corinthus e feminine. This is that mystical second declension feminine that I have told tale of. This is the one. Because place names in the ancient world tend to be feminine, even if they have masculine looking endings. So Corinthus e feminine for Corinth. It looks like it's genitive. Corinthi. Corinthi. Okay, cool. But if the noun that is in the name of these places, names of these nouns, these cities, towns, or small islands, is a first or second declension plural, or if it's just outright third declension, then its locative looks like its ablative. So first or second declension plural example, like Athens, Atenai aurum feminine plural. Remember, it only has plural forms, plural endings. First declension plural. First declension plural, therefore its locative looks like its ablative, which is Atenis. Atenis. Athens. At Athens, in Athens. Syrakusai, aurum, feminine plural. So where are you at? Syracusis. So Syracuses. I'm at the Syracuses. And then an exemplar of a third declension like Carthage. Carthago, Carthaginis, feminine. Where are you? I am at, looks like it's ablative, Carthagine. Carthagine. Remember, it's not plural, it's singular, whereas Athens and Syracuse are plural. So it doesn't automatically or magically go to singular, whereas Carthage doesn't have a plural, so must be ablative singular. Carthagine. There is another form for the locative of Carthage, Carthagini. And you see that sometimes in Virgil. Cartagini, where it's a final I instead of the letter E. Yeah, go figure. Now, I mentioned domus, humus, and rus. Here we have domus, us feminine, humus, e masculine, and rus, ruris neuter. The locative of domus is domi. The locative of humus is humi. Very humble. And the locative of rus is ruri. You just got to know those. You just got to know those. Domi is especially used, like domus is used quite a bit. People are forever leaving home, going home, being at home. Think how many times you do that per day. You leave home, go home, be at home. All right, now additionally, when we're talking motion towards or we're moving towards the names of cities, towns, small islands, or separation where we're separating away from, we're getting away from the names of cities, towns, or small islands, we're not going to use a preposition. Think about it. When have you ever seen ad Romam? Go on, take a moment, pause the video if you need to. I can wait. Ad Romam. You've not seen it. In Roma. You've not seen it. It's been kept from you purposefully. So no preposition is going to be used with the names of cities, towns, small islands, domus, humus, or rus. You just use the bare noun. Accusative for motion, moving towards the place. Ablative for separation. Well, what about for location? You're going to use the locative. Okay, so this might be a useful chart for you. So location, we'll use the locative. Caesar was at Rome, which will look like it's genitive, Romae. So Romae erat Caesar. Erat Caesar Romae. The ambassadors are at Carthage. This is a consulship. Where's the ambassador? Apparently they're at Carthage. Legati sunt Carthagine. Remember, you could also say Carthagini. Legati sunt Carthagine. Dude, where are you? I'm at home. I'm home. Domi sum. Domi sum. Sum domi. Sum domi. All right, motion towards. Motion towards. We're moving towards a place, so that's accusative. Just don't use a preposition in front of these nouns. The names of cities, towns, small islands, domus, humus, or rus. So Caesar marched to Rome, towards Rome. Ordinarily, we'd put an odd in front of this noun, but we're not going to in front of Romam. Just Romam. Caesar iter Romam fecit. The ambassadors sailed to Carthage. Legati Carthaginem navigant. I'm going home. Domum eo. I'm going home. Domum eo. Dude, where are you going? Domum? Remember, in Romans Go Home, it's Romani ite domum. Except that domus takes the locative, which is domum, no odd. Don't you dare put odd domum. It's bad. It's terrible. Separation, ablative. Caesar left from Rome. Let's just say Caesar left Rome. We're going to use discedo. So no a Roma or ab Romam or or ex Roma. How dare you? Don't you dare. No preposition. Just put it in the ablative. Caesar Roma discesit. Caesar Roma discesit. The ambassadors leave Carthage. The ambassadors leave from Carthage. Legati Carthagine discedunt. Legati Carthagine discedunt. And then I left from home. I left home. I left from home. Everyone's run away from home once, right? At least once. Domo discesi. Domo discesi. Then you come back. Realize you forgot your shoes. I left home. All right, Optime, very well done. You are now ready to move on to Chapter 21, Exercise D, the parsing exercise. Vale te omnes.